As legislators, we're always looking for ways of making government more efficient, and we do that every year, whether we're in a recession or not, but particularly during the tough times, we're using these opportunities to try to reform government and to try to find ways of making things more efficient. And among the things that we've done in the last two recessions is to try to help our municipalities with the same effort, because they're dependent very significantly on state aid, and during the recessions, unfortunately, while it's usually the last thing we cut, in each of the last three recessions, we've had to cut local aid rather deeply. And so as part of our work during those periods, we try to find ways of relieving some of the regulatory burden and helping communities with other opportunities to help themselves. And among the things that we've done in the last two recessions is approve municipal relief bills. And I chaired the Municipal Relief Commission in the Senate twice now, once in the recession about 5 years ago, and then again in the one that we are hopefully just about at the end of here in the current economic cycle. And among the things that we were able to do in the most recent version was finally to get for our communities a local option tax. Under the Massachusetts Constitution, all taxing authority rests with the legislature. And so the only taxes that a community can execute in their communities are those that are authorized by the legislature. And many years ago, a couple of local option taxes were authorized. The most notable was a hotel-motel tax. And for years now, some of our communities have been asking for another form of local option tax, specifically a local option meals tax. And I and several other legislators in our region had been offering legislation year after year after year as a result of home rule petitions approved by individual cities and towns in our region. In my case, Amherst, Greenfield, Northampton, to name three, all approved at their local government level the request that the legislature give them permission to offer a local option meals tax. Well, after about 7 or 8 years or so of lobbying and hard work, we finally were able to get a local option meals tax, which is now in place in about 40% of all of the communities in the state, and is producing literally hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue to our cities and towns. Another effort in our municipal relief bill was also to provide some incentives and some assistance in trying to improve the health insurance system and retirement systems in local communities to help over time bring down those costs. But I'd say that the highlight in our municipal relief bills in the last few years was winning for our cities and towns the right to levy some additional taxes that they could control and not be reliant upon the state in those instances. The largest revenue source in all of our communities is the local property tax, and that property tax is a very regressive tax, and it's based on your ability to pay. It's based on the value of your property, not on your ability to pay. And so it really is stressing particularly seniors and folks on fixed and low incomes to be able to stay in their homes. It's becoming more and more difficult because property taxes are taking a bigger and bigger bite out of their paychecks and annual income. And so the idea behind giving more control is to lessen the burden in part on property taxes, but also to provide an additional source of revenue for our communities.